And the whole time, I'm getting griped at. And I'm talking about, boy, you would have thought I ran over a dog. You know what I mean? She's just griping me out. Just, I can't believe you're so stupid. I can't believe you're even wanting to go. They're not even gonna take you serious. Coming there looking like that, covered in tattoos, and you don't even got a nice shirt on, and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, oh, is this a mistake? And so we get there, and I promise you, from the time we left my house in Baytown to the time we pulled into the church parking lot, she literally brought me out within that time. Okay. And so we get out, my cousin's waiting for me, and we go in there. And so we're sitting down and kind of looking around, and kind of sitting there. And this is coming from somebody that wasn't raised in church and never been, And so their church service is going on, and pastor gets up there and starts preaching, and I kind of like what he has to say, I can, I'm staying awake, because that's my biggest thing. I'll fall asleep in a heartbeat, So, he's keeping me awake, and I'm thinking, all right, I like what he has to say. He's a pretty funny guy, so I'm listening to him and hearing what he has to say, and afterwards we all go out to eat, kind of, get to know each other's family and whatnot. He said, why don't you come back next week? I don't know. He said, please, no. So we start coming. And about the fourth week, he finally says something that just tugs on my heart. You know what I mean? He just says the perfect thing. And I said, and he asked me if I ever knew, did I know where I was going if I died? And I started thinking to myself, no, I don't. I really don't. So I go up there and get my money first. Right there and there. Okay? And my wife, she had grown up in church, and she's one of those that went to church camp and all that most of her life, and one day probably went up like 4 or 5 times during camp meetings or whatever, and gave her life to Christ because her brother did and whatnot. And so she's thinking she's saved and all that. And then we about 2 weeks after, about a month after we started going, they did this thing called Heaven Gates, Hell's Flames. And I ain't never seen the play. It's a beautiful play. And finally, we got the whole family there. And a bunch of our family gets saved. And she goes up there, mainly as support to her family. She started thinking to herself, am I truly saved? So she gives her life to Christ that night. So here we are. We're both saved, and we're doing good, And so, we're going to church and we're doing our thing, and finally my cousin said, hey, look, you live in Baytown, you going to church in Cleveland, why don't you move down here? I said, my job's in Baytown. He said, what if I get you a job here? I said, if you can get me a job here doing what I do, get paid what I get paid, I'll move. A week later, I had a job in Cleveland doing what I do, getting paid more than what I got paid. So we moved, And so here we are. We're steadily finally getting members of church and getting going and all that. And everything's going all right. And so we're moving along just fine. We got pregnant with another one coming around here. And so we're having a new baby, and everything's going good and all that. But for the first few years of my salvation, all I did was sit in the pew. I might have went to a men's prayer breakfast or something like that, but I didn't do much more. You know what I mean? I didn't do nothing else. And I started reading the Bible and started reading about people like David, who started off as a shepherd boy and ended up king of Israel. I started reading about people like Apostle Paul, that was a persecutor of Christians and ended up being one that started more churches in 10 years than we can think of. He was one of the greatest men in the New Testament besides Jesus Christ. And I started thinking about people like Peter, which reminds me a lot of myself, that kind of talks when he shouldn't and says stuff, and he ended up cursing Jesus and cutting a dude's ear off and whatnot. But did one of the greatest revivals in the world, And I start thinking to myself, I'm not much different than these guys, I'm not perfect, but I love God, I make mistakes, but I love God, and so I'm sitting in the back of a pew one day, and I'm thinking to myself, God, is this all you got for me? Is to sit back here and do nothing? Go to a prayer breakfast every once in a while, was loving on him, but I thought there was something more. I thought there was absolutely something more to that. And as I'm sitting there and I'm praying to him and I'm asking him, I said, God, you know, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? He said, son, I did not bring you through all this to sit in the back of that pew. I brought you through all this so you can do something great for my kingdom. And as soon as he said that, it snapped. You know, I said, you know what? You're right. I'm going to do something great. So me and my wife, we do a youth group in Cleveland. We do a lot of works for the kingdom of God. I'm writing a book right now. It's called, because when I shot myself, I missed my heart by 2 centimeters. Missed my heart by 2 centimeters. And if I'd have died that day, I'd have went to hell because I wasn't saved. So I'm writing a book. It's called 2 Centimeters from Hell. And it's pretty much an elaborated story of what you just heard now. Okay? And then, so with all that, guys, last 2 weeks ago, I had a cousin. He was 14 years old. He decided to steal his grandma's car. As he stole his grandma's car, he's driving down the road to his buddy's house. He sees, cop sees that his taillight's out. He turns around to pull him over. My cousin didn't want to get pulled over, so he hit the gas. When he hit the gas, he tried to take a turn going 100 miles an hour and hit a telephone pole and died instantly. And what I'm talking to you about today, guys, is choices we make in life. Some of the choices I made has been devastating to my family. I am a convicted felon. I went to prison. There's jobs I've gotten. I haven't done nothing wrong in 15 years, guys, as far as illegally. And there's times in our life that we got to make certain choices. And when we make those choices, it impacts us dearly. And not only impacts us, it impacts the people around us. It not only did his decision impact him by him passing away, but it devastated his grandma, it devastated his uncle, his father, and all the rest of us. Okay? I just want to talk to y'all and have y'all think, before y'all make a certain decision, think about the consequences you have behind that decision, guys, and what it can do to not only you, but the people around you. Okay? And I just want to thank y'all for y'all's time and y'all's hearing my testimony. And we're going to give it up for Big Josh. He's actually going to come up and break it up.